Well, the CPI inflation data came out this morning, and here's how it stacks up. So, the forecast for this morning was 2.6% for CPI inflation data, and it came in at 2.7%. So, even though we have now seen an uptick in inflation, it still didn't stop Donald Trump from calling for a 3-point rate cut. Not once, but twice. But what exactly does this mean? So we now have 2 consecutive months of inflation data that is currently on the rise. Basically, what this is telling us is that the cost of goods are continuing to go up. At this point, the Fed is most likely not going to cut rates because if they do, cutting rates will stimulate the demand in an economy. And at this point, there is a chance that it could reignite inflation pressure and bring inflation even higher. And if you don't believe me, see for yourself. There is now less than a 3% chance that rates get cut at the July Fed meeting, and only a 50% chance that they get cut at the September meeting. So now the everyday consumer is left with higher borrowing costs and a decrease in purchasing power. Wonderful. Now that the inflation data is out of the way, Trump has announced that he has a great deal for everybody with Indonesia and that the details will follow. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. And Trump also announced a very bullish message for crypto, saying that he basically wants America to be the leader in digital assets. This is definitely going along with part of the adoption of crypto. If you don't own any crypto, you don't have any crypto exposure at all, just buy a little bit of Bitcoin. I would recommend having a portfolio allocation of like 5% or even 1%, but just get some exposure. And of course, I have to end this video off with a little bit of a technical analysis on the S&P 500. So here, looking at the SPY, you can see that we have a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern with increasing volume on the daily chart. A bearish engulfing candlestick pattern often signals that there may be some downside in the near future. So if I had to guess, I would say that we are headed towards the 612 area that I have been talking about so far this week. I will be more than happy if we do get a decent pullback in the S&P 500 because I will be dollar cost averaging into my 3-part portfolio, just as I always do. If you're interested in knowing what that 3-part portfolio is, just give me a comment down below and give me a follow.